Welcome to Target Market Insights, the multifamily and marketing podcast. Each week, John Kasman interviews multifamily and marketing experts to teach you how to find the best places to invest, attract investors, and grow your portfolio. You are listening to Target Market Insights with your host, John Kasman.
Welcome to Target Market Insights, the multifamily and marketing show. I'm your host, John Kasman, and I want to thank you for joining us for another great episode. Now, if you're enjoying the show, do me one quick favor and leave us that 5-star rating and review. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. Now, today we're going to be talking to my good friend, Mr. Smiles, Vinney Chopra. Vinney Chopra is an Amazon bestseller, host of 2 podcasts and 2 weekly live shows, and the founder of 5 companies. He came to the U.S. from India with only $7 in his pocket when he sold encyclopedias and Bibles door-to-door as a student. Now he's a multifamily syndication expert, and he's facilitated over 30 successful syndication deals, and he's acquired and manages a very successful real estate investment portfolio worth over $400 million, which is over 4,300 doors. Let's welcome to the show, Vinney Chopra, Mr. Smiles.
Hi, John. How are you, brother? How are you doing?
Vinney, I'm good, man. Listen, it's great to get you back on the show. We had you on the show really when we first launched, man. I think it was like episode 6 or 7 or something way back. I got to go take a look, but we had you on the show early on the show. So certainly some time has passed, but that smile is still on your face. Why don't you take a couple of minutes and give people a little bit more context on who you are?
Totally, John. And Gitika, your lovely wife. It was such a pleasure to, do the show with you all. Yeah, I live near San Francisco, California, in Black Hawk Country Club. And I'm really fascinated. We just celebrated our 40th wedding anniversary, 40th. And we have been living in the Bay Area, San Francisco for 40 years. I got into single family home. When we moved here, my friends and other people that we met and all, they were in real estate 40 years back. Can you believe? They opened up my eyes and my ears to what they were doing. But then I've been a motivational speaker. I sold Bible books. As you know, I came to USA with $7 in pocket, did my MBA, Master's in Business Administration from George Washington University. That converted me from an engineer to a salesperson to a marketing person to motivational speaker, then a broker. I'm a California broker also and a syndicator. So that has been my journey. And I'm a first multifamily I was introduced to in 2005 and 6, around there, 15 years back only, not too long back. But the key thing was logically thinking. I said, man alive, I would love to have 20 or 30 homes that we had all over the USA in one place. I said, we can collect rent and the economies of scale and everything. That just ingrained in my mind. So I dreamt about it, thought about it, and that's what we've been doing. My first unit was 14 units. I would love your audience to say, hear that out. 14 units for $180,000, literally. That was my first start in this business 12, 13 years back. And now we are buying 52 million, 35 million, 36 million, building like 200 million in assisted living a year. Hold on.
Man, I love it, Vinney. And your story is so powerful. And I love just hearing you talk about it because, one, congratulations on your 40th anniversary. Obviously, it demonstrates the commitment and focus and passion that's there. And you started investing 15 years ago in the syndications, right? So, a lot of people are maybe new to this space, hearing about it for the first time or recently, but you've been doing this for a while. But that first multifamily deal was only a smaller property, $150,000 deal that you took down, and now you're doing these massive, $35 million, $52 million deals. Let's go back there, right? Because I think from a mentality standpoint, you mentioned that you came to this country with $7 in your pocket. You got a job selling Bibles, and encyclopedias door to door. You went from being an engineer to deciding to be a salesman, motivational speaker, investor, apartment syndicator. From a mindset, you also coach. You have a mastermind group. You work with a lot of people, right? And you're so positive. You are so optimistic. talk to me a little bit about the mindset and why that's so key. Going back then, right? Starting out when you haven't, it's easy to be successful now, maybe, but starting out when you don't have the results to show for it, how did you maintain that focus and that positivity?
I'm so glad you're asking that. And it's so true. The mindset is the main thing. I really say that 90% is the mindset, 10% is what you do with your life and so forth. It's the attitude, it's how you look at things, how you send out the positive energy in every angle so that you don't know how you're going to reach those goals, but you got to have big goals in life. I really, be a dreamer, and it's nothing wrong. It doesn't cost any money at all, but put it down. And that's what I did with my motivational speaking and fundraising career. My company would bring all these great leaders to teach us, to talk about our psyche. And we even did seminars and learned about things and goal setting books. I remember this thing. And we look at, and write, and then we'll do inspection, how far along we have come in our goals that we set up. So those kind of things help a lot. But looking at the positivity, the second book that I wrote, Positivity Brings Profitability, that really my wife inspired. She says, last year, she says, I've been with you 39 years. You got to write positivity book, because I wrote this one. It's in the background too, Apartment Syndication Made Easy. But she said, that's limited book for limited people in real estate. You got to write book on positivity, because that is what I would say, John. It's been totally focus driven actions when I didn't have any money. I mean, I started this business, with $500 of my own money. Hold on. We had money back then in 2014 or 12. I'm going wrong now, 2007 and so forth. But we didn't want to invest money in the business because my wife didn't believe in it. She said, we don't know what you're going to do and all that. It's just uncharted waters. That's what a lot of people are sitting right there. I'm telling you, a lot of people listening to us, it's the uncharted waters that you got to take calculated risk and learn the art. It's learning the art of what you really want to do. Don't go into every direction, because if you go in too many directions, focus is not there. You got to just hunker down and go into one direction. And that's what I did. Multifamily just got me going, and I was passionate about it. I spent a lot of money, over $100,000, to give my coaching staff and other coaching and mentoring and all that. And guess what? Millions are coming back. That's how it is all about.
Yeah, I think a couple of things that just jump out to me. First and foremost, you talked about how you were, using your profession, right, as a motivational speaker, as a salesman. You were being trained on mindset. You were looking at these books and writing goals and dreaming big, and that played a big role in the way you were able to see things, not just for your job, but life, every opportunity that was in front of you. And you mentioned that, knowing that there was some fear, your wife had some fear that, hey, you don't really know what you're doing. You don't have the experience in this space. So let's not go out and put all of our own money in this. But what you did do, and this is a key takeaway, a key insight for everyone listening, what you did was you surrounded yourself with people who actually had more expertise, the coaches, the mentors, other people that could help fill in the gaps of what you didn't know. So you had your own belief in yourself, but you surrounded yourself with other people. So yes, you invested 100K plus, but you're getting that back tenfold. And that's a big important thing, is you have to believe in yourself. You have to take action, but you also have to surround yourself with the people that can uplift you and fill in any deficiencies. That's a great pathway and a great recipe for success.
You're so right, John. If we can just delve a little bit deeper into it, see, there are a lot of naysayers in our life. There are people all around us. They will not be happy if you're successful. They want to cut you down. They want to show you all the weaknesses you have. They want to tell you, it's not going to happen. That's where you need to break out of that. You got to break out. You got to change your friends. You got to do something, because we have always thought about it, right? And read that you are average of 5 people you keep yourself, or the books you read, 5 books, 6 books, and what you take from there and implement, and the company you keep. If you think a lot of people are dragging you down and they're not believing in yourself, because you got to believe in yourself first. But more importantly, like you just said, sending out the message to in the universe. I believe in law of attraction a lot, and also law of positivity, because the more positive you are, more people are endeared to you. That's what I wrote in my that book, positivity book. You could just scan out. It's hard, it's difficult, but you could clear out your mind with the negative out, then only positive will come. See, the thing is, a lot of time we keep the negative in our mind so much, there is no room for positivity. So it's kind of like a jar, right? You got to empty the jar out of the water, unless what you're going to put more water in it, it's going to overflow. It's not going to go in there, right?
Yeah, man. And listen, I think too, like if you go back and the episode we had you on before is episode 18, right? So way back, episode 18, right? So, but the thing that jumped out to me, just for those who don't know, I initially met Vinney at the San Francisco Bay Summit a few years ago. And I saw Vinney across a room there were hundreds of investors in that room. And this guy, his face, it caught me from across the room, and we kind of smiled at each other. And he had this this mechanism about himself, almost like a magnet, this magnetism. And I'm like, I gotta at least say hello to this guy. And we got to know each other a little bit there. And obviously, as I went on to do the show, I wanted to reach back out and get Vinney. And I want you just to talk about that presence, because there's a presence that you have. And I think for a lot of people who are hearing you, they're like, listen, Vinney, I get it. That sounds great, right? I've read books that talk about mindset and positivity. I know that, if you think positive, things happen. But people have a hard time really making that change and making it internally. And you really kind of radiated that for me at least across the room, and that has been really consistent in the way you come across in general. Can you give some actionable tips for our listeners to actually go from just reading and wanting to be positive and wanting to be optimistic to actually changing the way they approach their day, approach themselves, and actually becoming this person that is able to attract the things they really want?
I love that. I love that, John. So true what you're saying. But let's just keep one thing clear, is that you are going to really change your behavior, right? It's changing of behavior. It's the changing of attitude, or it's changing ourselves incrementally. I want to use the word incrementally because Vinney didn't change overnight. Nobody can change overnight. Our reticular system, our subconscious mind, our conscious and subconscious mind will bring us back to the same old us unless we change little by little by little. Okay, why do I say that is? You got to first make the decision. The biggest thing is making the decision why you want to change. Like, Tony Robbins really affected my mind many years back, 35 years back. Jim Rohn, Napoleon Hill, Zig Ziglar. I mean, you name it, right? I have hundreds of books, right? But I have not read a book at all. I always read a book or listen to something and I say, what can I implement right now? So that was my desire to say, what can I take? 2-3 points for $8 of the book. If I can take 3 good ideas and I can implement that, can change my behavior, my thinking, or my mindset or something, I'm very good. I'll feel, comfortable with that. So the key thing is we have to make a decision first, then look at all the positives that are going to come out. Our negative self, our self-esteem will only be higher if we work on it. Nobody's going to really work on it externally. See, the thing is, you've got to really decide on why you want to change. First of all, what are the pleasures And what are the pains? Okay, I'm talking about Tony's language now. Pleasure and pain, because our mind works in different ways. We love to work in comfort zone. Always we want to, not get up early in the morning, not do exercise, and not do the miracle morning I call, right? Not eat the right stuff, the good healthy stuff. I mean, our mind says, take this path which is of comfort. Then the other part of us is saying, there is a why. I always have believed in it. Every moment in our life, there is a why. There is a good why, right side or left side. You've got to make small incremental decisions. And those decisions shape our destiny. Those small decisions shape our, the mindset and what we want to become, because you got to really write every day. How was my day today? Was it a good day? Was I happy? Did I accomplish what I wanted to? See, only 3% in the world, people who are in the high earners, they write their goals down, or 7% or something. A lot of us think that I've got my mind, I've got it, and we don't want to take time to write it down on a piece of paper and then hold us accountable. Oh. Now, if we don't hold ourselves accountable, then why to write down the goals? Why to dream? No. That's all hoopla. That's just fake, because we don't want it badly enough. And that's what it's all about. We can change incrementally in my message. The second thing is, we got to make room to take the negatives out. We got a goal set. It's nothing uncommon. John, people have read about it, heard about it, we see it. You could go to YouTube and you could go to Google and say how to be motivated, right? Why I'm thinking so negatively today. Just Google that or YouTube it. You will come across some terrific recordings. I love to be visual and auditing, I love YouTube. That's the best friend anybody can have. Free friend, which can change you like that, and then you come back. The subconscious within our mind does not know good from the bad. See, that's the thing. Subconscious needs to be changed. And that's what is by us incrementally making a concerted effort so that we could really, okay, the biggest thing is, John, I'm sorry, is that the 30 seconds back, whatever happened to you or me, we cannot change it. Minute back. How about yesterday? How about last week? How about last year? Lot of us get so engrossed in all the bad things that happen in our life, which we cannot do anything about it. Nothing can be done unless we die. We die, then, gone. What can we do about tomorrow? A lot of things, negative things. Hold on. 87% of our mind always thinks the negative thoughts. It says that this is going to go wrong. I'm not going to be I cannot be successful. Oh no, it's so hard. No, it's COVID going on right now. Market is going up and down. I just don't know what to do. All that stuff, negative, right? But the thing is, those negative thoughts impede us today. They rob us of this moment. And those things may never come to fruition, by the way. 90% of the negative things we think will happen in the future never happen.
Yeah, you just gave some great insights right there. It's so important for people to understand that some of this is not magic. You may have heard a lot of the theories that Vinney was just talking about. You have heard them from other speakers. You may have read them in books. If you've checked out Zig Ziglar or Tony Robbins or some of these people, you may be familiar with this. The question you have to ask yourself is, are you implementing these steps in your life? You mentioned The Savers, the book by Hal Elrod, Miracle Morning. Yes. And a lot of these things, to some degrees, the blueprint's laid out.
Yeah.
but you have to follow it. And you said something that I think is really key. You said, do you want it badly enough?
Yeah.
And if you want it badly enough, then you will make it a priority to write down your goals. Look in somewhere where you can actually see them daily, journal, write them down. What can I do about tomorrow? How can I improve on whatever it is you're trying to work on? And having that positive mindset, it's not walking around saying everything is, peachy and beautiful. It's simply stating that, hey, I have some power and some control to change my circumstances. I can't change yesterday, but I can have an impact on what tomorrow looks like, even if it's just a little bit. Even if that's just, hey, I'm going to read a book, or I'm going to learn this, or I'm going to go to this webinar, or whatever the case may be, you know, taking those incremental steps, as you talked about, that is the process for change. And I think it all starts with having that positive mindset and putting yourself in that position. Vinney, powerful insights here. I want to talk a little bit more about what you've been doing, though, right? So you've been crushing it in a world where, COVID has taken over. A lot of people have been sitting on the sidelines waiting things out. You have taken the opposite approach. What have you been up to since COVID began?
To be truthful, I knew I had some very, very high goals when I started 2020. And it was going to be a lot more excitement. And then we went on great vacation, my wife and all family, came back, COVID happened. But, the mindset is that, hey, so what? Okay. Uh, I just took it more positively right from the February or March, whenever it happened. I said, guess what? Now I can reach my investors. They're not even tied up at work. They are working from home. I mean, Zoom is there, GoToMeeting, Skype, everything. We love you, Zoom. We have 2 accounts in our company, right? So all those things, you're looking at the mindset of scarcity or fear, or you're looking at the mindset of abundance. All right. So I have always felt that, you got to find ways so that you could really look into any situation in a positive way. That's the other thing, right? People always say that, no, it's going to be so bad and this and that, but you say silver lining on a dark cloud. You got to look for it. So that's what happened. And I said, okay, we were collecting 98% of our rents in our property we bought in Florida, right, in the tech space, because the tech jobs did not lose steam. Nobody, left us at that property and everything. My mind went straight to where are some other tech places I need to buy. We thought about Austin. See, I live near San Francisco, which is Silicon Valley in my backyard. With Google, with Tesla, with everybody designing and saying that you don't have to come to the office that much, you can work from anywhere. My mind, engineering mind, right? Holy cow. Okay, where is the next tech Silicon Valley? Austin, Texas. So I just started making efforts with my partners, and we came across a broker who knew me from 9 years back. 9 years back. He says, Vinney, I know you. You were the easiest guy to purchase because I bought 7 properties over there near Austin, right? In San Antonio, San Marcos, Seguin, everywhere. So he was able to orchestrate, and this 308 units we just purchased, right? A couple of months back. And it was so exciting to buy that because Fannie and Freddie were fighting to give us the loan. We got a loan of 2.58%. Hold on, 2.58% for 30-year amortized, 10-year fixed with, I think, 3 years of interest only, things like that. So multifamily has been my gig, and I've done now 29 syndications as general partner, myself, and being on the loan and everything. I don't take too many general partners at all. So that's something, right? The other thing, you just asked me what I'm up to. We bought hospitality. My other friend who is a multimillionaire, they were buying Hilton Garden Inn. We bought it in Texas. We're going to be buying more now with COVID. So positive, right? We are already looking at receivership We are putting some inroads into what the Hiltons and the Marriotts and the Comfort Inns and all will be available. We're going to buy some of those coming up here in 2021. Then the third thing, which has really given me a new life actually, is senior assisted living, luxury senior assisted living, which is ground up. And I've been thinking about it, John. This is manifestation of what you think that happens. And I want to tell your audience, I'm not like this. I was never like this always. And a lot of people see me as a successful businessman now, but I've gone through so much negative, so many ups and downs, so many everything. Just like the iceberg. Remember, iceberg, you can just see the tip of the iceberg, but you look under the ocean, under the water, is all the hard work, rejection, and failures, because you never come to success without failures. We got to love to accept failures and love to love failures, let's say. We should love to love, failures, because failures really bring us to the successes. So senior living, Silver Tsunami is going on right now. It started about 2017 or so, where 10,000 baby boomers are turning 65 every day in USA. And it's going to be like this for next 5 to 7 years. And then we will have from 5.7, I think, million, we have right now of our population of 85 plus, it's going to become 20 million. Hold on, 20 million, 4 times in the next many, many years, 30 years, let's say. But there is such a big shortage for senior assisted living, not in the independent living. There is need for that, not in the nursing homes and, acute centers and rehab centers. We didn't want to get into that field, but we just wanted in the middle, sweet spot, where we could make a difference in the lives of, people, our seniors, who are in the 82 years of age to until they die, kind of like, let's just say that, or up to 103 also in our communities, we have up to that age. So that is the new field, which has really given me a new life to build ground up with my partner. I want to get into senior living for 3 years. Literally for 3 years. I didn't know how I'm going to get it. I was sending out messages and everywhere. Last year, it just so happened, John Rusin joined me as VP of my academy. He says, Vinney, senior living. My friend, I went to school with him and he's been building senior living now. I said, what? He says he's been doing it for 9 years. Here, I've been doing multifamily for 12 years, right? 12, 13 years. He's doing senior living. Now we are joined together. He came as a poor boy, just like I came as a poor boy from India when I was 22. He came from, Pakistan when he was 17. Hold on. What a mixture of both of us here in USA as friends and as business partners now. And we are so fascinated. He's building luxury senior living, 1 story with 4 or 5 courtyards with movie theaters in there, libraries, meeting rooms, dining, 5-star restaurant style dining in the multifamily of senior living, spas, salons, putting greens, swimming pools, waterfalls. I mean, amazing, amazing things. And we have now, he's built 23 of them. Hold on. I've done 29 syndications and apartment, and there is his 23. We are close to $1 billion together, billion with a B. And now he and I have joined at the hip to build these communities all over USA, all over USA.
Vinney, that's amazing, right? You're now in this space here of senior assisted living. You gave a great stat about, you call it the Silver Tsunami, right? So how many people are moving? I believe you said 10,000 people are turning 65 in the United States every single day. So there's a huge growing demand for senior housing, and you are now, basically building these ground ups. These are new luxury places. These are not all old nursing homes. You're building really attractive luxury homes or luxury facilities where people actually would want to live and want to, spend their last years while they can still move around and enjoy life and do things. So sounds like a phenomenal opportunity, and especially hearing about, your partnership with your friend, because you two have similar stories and backgrounds and experiences, and here you are now growing that. I want to go back real quick, Vinny, because you started talking about what we were doing during COVID and the mindset about what it took to continue to hit your goals, to continue to be active. And you told me before you hit the record button that you've actually done 6 syndications since COVID began. I want to talk about that just a little bit. I mean, as you look at it, to do 6 syndications during COVID over the last, 8 or 9 months or so, obviously that takes a lot of optimism and a lot of drive to pull all that together. Just go into a little bit more detail. What were some of the challenges that you had to overcome during COVID and talking to investors to get them comfortable investing during such a period of unrest?
That's so good. I'm so glad, John, you talked about it. I definitely would like to say that, since I started 13, 14 years back with zero investor, right? So everybody, please listen to this one. You got to always be looking into spreading your knowledge and your education to your people in your family, your friend circle. They need to know that you are really sincere about investing or syndicating, we call the word, where it is like pooling of the money together. Legally, it's called syndication, nothing major. A lot of people get frowned upon, and that's why I wrote the book, Apartment Syndication Made Easy, because it's very easy if you do it right? But the key thing is, these were some investors which I'm also kind of closing the loops on some of my assets and giving money back. I've always thought, when they look at my quarterly Zoom meeting, right? I do live meetings. So I try to say towards the end of the presentation, Vinny is logical, right? He knows that all investors are going to watch that quarterly meeting. So why not to sell them at the end of every PowerPoint presentation? I put slides and so forth and, share my excitement, what I'm doing next and next and next. I've been doing it for the last 14 years. Hold on. 14 years. Because I have never done a webinar to bring money into my deals. Never done a webinar so far. Because I just sell them, my investors. You got to take your investors with you wherever you're investing, wherever you're underwriting, whatever market you are really excited about. You got to tell your investors through newsletters, through talking to them and quarterly meetings or like that, educational webinars, right? Because then it's quick to have them say, Vinny, put me down for 200, 500, 700. That's what happened, John. So it was not that it happened only in COVID. I would like to say that, but these were the investors who have been kind of playing ball with me, I call it, right? I've given them, great returns, IRRs of 40% per year over 6 years. So somebody who gave me 100,000, I give them back 240 plus 100. So great returns, right? But it's not, those were great times, by the way. I want to qualify that, not tell everybody that, call Vinny to get those returns. But we are giving 20%, 22, 27, very, very easily, right? And we're not selling any security, guys. We don't have anything right now. But the key thing is that I just thought about it. I said, you know what? I am going to be always looking into deals, first of all. And then secondly, if I come across a great one, I will pull the trigger. You got to pull the trigger, right? That's the only way to live. So senior living, when I started working with my friend, Shahid, we said, okay, what's the next one? In Florida, and we had gone through the permits and things like that. And I just said, you know what? Let's put together an OM, operating memorandum, send it out to my investors. I sold that first deal over the weekend, raised $4 million over the weekend. I said, what? What? What am I doing? I mean, this was the first time ever I brought to my investors a build up where they don't make any cash flow for first year, zero cash flow because it's dirt, right? But they bought my system, how I sold it to them and everything, through this, my quarterly meeting I was doing, remember all these assets.
Mm-hmm.
So I put that tag along with them. This is what Vinny's doing. He's going to be going into assisted senior living, and did a lot of research and put together PowerPoint presentation of all the graphs and everything. I believe if I'm sold on the market, I need to now be a salesperson to tell my investors why they should look into it. I mean, you cannot push anybody to go anywhere, right? You got to educate, educate, and educate. And then they will jump into it. Hold on. By doing that attitude, I raised money for 4 projects, 4 syndications. First, then second in Williamsburg, Virginia, third one, and fourth one. My investors were saying, Vinny, you sell out so fast. I was in the, I couldn't even reply back to you with my soft commitment. So the last one, I combined the 2. I said, instead of raising 4 million or 4.5 million, we'll raise 8 million, 0.5 or whatever. So I sold that out in day and a half. So that's my 4 syndications. The 5th one is stabilized senior living, which is my another niche now that we are buying. We were selling them to REITs. We are not going to sell them to REITs. We're going to buy ourselves, my partner and I. So I shared that opportunity to one of my friend, investor. He says, Vinny, 3.5 million sold. I could not even take it out to my investors. They flew that Friday to Michigan. I'm meeting on Wednesday. They flew on Friday. They went through the whole deal. And they said, Vinny, done. Totally done. So we are doing syndication for that one. Then this Austin deal came across, right? About 3 months back or so, 4 months back. We said, okay, let's go for it. And we did 65% LTV, my partner and I, 65%, because we didn't want to take risk and chance and everything, right? We raised how many? $17 million. $17 million. Just like this, we raised within let's say 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, it took us that, right? So we raised total, I just counted 32.8 million or something during COVID.
It's amazing, Vinny. I mean, listen, and to have all of that lined up, I mean, I think that there are a few takeaways. I mean, one, your positive energy to always share what you're working on, using those quarterly meetings as an opportunity to just let people know, hey, here's what I'm working on. Here's what's next. It's starting to share that with people. And even though, the times and so many other things were going on, you never know who's actually interested, because as many people that were scared, there were people who were looking for places to park capital, to maybe take money out of the stock market or take it out of a different investment and put it into something new. And to your point, it was something that was stabilized or something that had a longer projection, as opposed to the roller coaster ride that is the stock market. Now you can get people involved and interested, but you have to let them know the opportunity exists, right? You have to talk to them. You have to share it. So I think that's really the big thing that jumps out to me, is partnering with people, looking at what opportunities exist, and then actually sharing that with your network. And you were able to raise all this money relatively quickly. It sounds like every single deal you were able to raise within just a matter of days. It wasn't like a 3 or 6 month raise. I mean, you were putting these deals out and having the money committed within days, if not hours. So it just really is a testament, I think, to the track record that you've built, the network that you've built, and the character that you have, and just working with people, delivering for them, and being open and honest where there is kind of pent up demand for your next deals. Vinny, I want to, before we jump into our bullseye round, I just want to know, as you look at opportunities going into 2021, you talked a little bit about the senior assisted living. Are there markets or specific regions where you think this opportunity is better than other places in the country?
Very good point, John. I'm so glad you said that. Of course, as the demographical shift is happening, which I have always been looking at the charts and read a lot and analyze a lot because we need to make sure that where the seniors want to retire, we want to build these senior communities there. We also find that lots of seniors want to retire near to their grandchildren and their children. So actually, that gives pretty big spectrum. Of course, Florida, huge with the warmer climate, Texas, warmer climate, Arizona's, and all the other places, and Virginia, and all that. But we are also open to now moving all across USA. We were in Missouri just last week. My partner, he traveled 300 miles. He couldn't find anything similar to our product at all. Nothing. And he met with 17 attorneys over there. We are looking at 2 pieces of land right now, actually, to build this senior assisted living over there. So you're right. I think we are looking into all these places. In Texas, we are going big times over there. And of course, Florida, we are already 4 locations. We'll do 4 or 5 or 6 more locations. My goal actually is to build about maybe 6 to 10 every year for the next 10 to 15 years, and the demand is so great that I cannot fulfill that demand. I mean, there's such more scarcity for our luxury product, And I do want to say one thing. Just when you said about syndication, I had one family, partners actually brought young people, brought 1.8 million. Hold on. 1.8 million into my deals this last 4 months. So they must have a lot more money, but they just felt like stock market is not the right place and this and that. And they said, Vinney, put us down here. I've got a lot of investors who say, Vinney, put me down for every deal you have. Senior assisted living, $250,000. Done. So I do want to talk to your audience. Don't undersell yourself. I hate it when people say, you know what, let me put my PPM at 15,000 a pop or 20,000 a pop or minimum investment, right? Or 25. I'll like to stretch your imagination to say 50,000 minimum, because a lot of time people have money, but they don't want to, have the, you have not done a good job. Let me put it this way. To sell them or show them why they should invest 50,000 with you. They're just trying to, nitpick small things. But I made a decision about 100,000 14 years back, and that has resulted in me raising millions because the net worth of my investors is so high. They're multi-millionaires, and their peer group, who they have been recommending me to also, are very, very rich people. So anyway, I mean, we need to do that. We also do tier investing. That's the other nugget I would love to share with your audience. What's tier investing? I would highly recommend everybody listening to us to do a tier at 50,000, at 100,000, at 200,000, and give them preferred returns a little bit more. And you'll be amazed how people will move from 50 to 100, and the 100,000 investor is moved to 200. And it's totally fine, because why not? You will be then needing to raise, with less number of investors, less hassle, but you will graduate to a more higher, and you can raise a lot more money, that way. So we've been doing that, and it's been just amazing. And with my established senior living, hold on, I put minimum at 1 million. Really thinks big. Million, 2 million, and the whole enchilada. So 3.5 million, right? So in my whole returns, I said, I'll give you 18% returns per year or whatever it was. And I got sold like that, just like this. The one party said, 3.5 million. We took it. That's it. And they want to now buy everything I got. I said, what? Anyway.
No, listen, great points there, Vinney. And I think it goes back to the mindset where we started our conversation, right? You have to ask yourself, where are you at today and how do you get to that point, right? Maybe you can't right now go into a deal with minimums of $1 million, but you can start to say, okay, how do I surround myself with this kind of investor? How do I engage this kind of investor? How do I educate this kind of investor on what I do and the capabilities that I have, the team I've surrounded myself, and you grow from there. Vinny didn't do this overnight, right? I mean, he talked
Oh,
about being in for 14 years, doing 115 or $150,000 deal to start.
yeah.
So you have to understand where it is to begin and then work your way up. I mean, every day, just get a little bit better. You talked about being making incremental changes, and that really being the driving force. And you can see from maybe where you're at today to where Vinny is today. Most people are on somewhere on that continuum. But the point is, continue to make incremental changes every day, and you can absolutely achieve success. Vinny, just to recap those numbers, man, I just want to replay it back because it was so strong. 6 syndications during COVID. You've raised,
Yeah.
$32.8 million. And you are just continuing to grow. Your goal now is to do 6 to 10 of these new construction assisted living facilities, and you are just crushing it. So keep it up, Vinny. We are going to move on to our bullseye round. You ready?
Mm-hmm. Sure, bud.
All right, Vinny, we talked a lot about positivity, but I want to start with this one. Give me a failure or an apparent failure that set you up for later success.
I've had a lot of failures in due diligence phase where I forgot to look under the building to the sewer lines and everything and got into trouble. But you know what? The positivity put me out of there. My investors were attorneys. Hold on, 7, 8 attorneys in that deal. And, we will meet every 2 weeks. For 2 years, we met every 2 weeks because they were our top priority to show them what we are doing at that property. So I take adversity at my chin. I got sued, for $7 million of some kind of lawsuit, didn't have to pay a penny. Now, I could have been decapacitated, right? But I knew I was right with, it dragged on for 2.5 years. So things happen, right, in life. But the thing is, you've got to really see where you could take it, the adversity on your chin, and then you say, find a solution for it, right? So lots of failures are there. I can go over again and again and again. I mean, I got the renovations done of the 16 burnt units, and I thought I chose the right contractor. And Class A, reconstruction, and my slabs, the granite started breaking. What? Class A buildings. So I stopped the payment. I had a mechanical lien on it. Then I did the mediation. Instead of 130,000, they settled for 50,000. I mean, things like that. Where I'm right, I go to the hilt. I'm a pretty easygoing person, but I get really, not right for people who are trying to do wrong with me.
Can you give me a digital or mobile resource you recommend for your business?
Oh my gosh, digital, definitely. My whole life is on my iPhone. My business Dropbox is number one to the hilt. I can look at everything and everything. Sign Easy is another one, my digital app for signing. I hate to print anything. I mean, I buy all these things, signing on my thing with the blue ink and everything. And then, of course, we use Asana, A-S-A-N-A. Asana, great software. And then, of course, we use for our marketing and other things, Active Campaign, amazing, MailChimp, Active Campaign, and Appfolio for the investor portals and everything like that, which is Appfolio is amazing. We love it, where investors can come in and they have a dashboard. Every investment they have done with us for the last 14 years, how much they have made up to the last quarter, it's all uploaded and all the things. So there are a lot of great, digital and online softwares that we use.
Love it, man. Great tips there. A lot of great resources you just gave. So, all right, Vinny, outside of your own books, give me the book you've recommended or gifted the most in the last year.
So that's a good point. I would say I like to gift a lot of books. One which has really made a big impression on me is Power of Now. Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I mean, that book has really been my theme for many, 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 many years because I believe in action. I don't believe in just reading lots and lots and lots of books, because the more things you have in mind, you got to funnel down to action. So anything you're reading in 2 pages, 4 pages, you should draw it out. I will say to the audience, go ahead and highlight it and then say, what can I implement? It's not what we know, it's what we implement. It's what we change our thinking with. That's what is the main thing. So Eckhart Tolle's book, I would say number 1.
Give me a daily habit that helps you stay focused on your goals.
Oh, huge miracle morning. My daily habit when I was a W-2 employee, I would get up at 6:30 and 7 and put the snooze alarm, right? Now, my internal clock wakes me up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, always, every day. And I get so charged up every morning. I'm 68. I'm looking forward to be straight and not using a cane and everything, and just, being positive at 88. That's my next theme, is to be next 20 years. I want to be the best of the best of the best, eating right, exercising. So Miracle Morning is amazing. I hope a lot of your, viewers and listeners, just Google Miracle Morning on YouTube and listen to it, because paying gratitude is so important every morning. Aligning yourself, exercising, feeding your mind with positive thoughts. That's all Miracle Morning is. And you'll be so surprised looking at your goals, what you want to accomplish, whatever had happened yesterday, paying gratitude to everybody in your life, above, below, sideways, everybody. Because the more you are really focused and aligned on a daily basis, you will accomplish so much. It's amazing. After 17, 18 hours, I'm like this, literally. And my wife says, what are you doing? She said, you worked so hard. I said, I didn't work a darn minute. I just enjoyed. I just love what I did today, and all that stuff.
All right, Vinney, what's one thing you know now that you wish you knew when you were starting out?
I really believe that things happen for a reason. I really believe in that. I never regret. I never really scold myself, and things like that, why I didn't do it, before and so forth. But definitely real estate. I knew that my wife always told me I was making 300,000-400,000 a year or something. She says, no, you should be making millions. Literally. She believed in me more than I believed in myself. And I tell her, we've been married 40 years. She says, Vinney, with the kind of attitude, with the kind of things that you are so, God has given you these gifts, and you should be making millions of dollars every year, and God give us, and we are doing it now,
I love it, man. I love it. Those are powerful insights. And I just love the way you continue to push. I got to ask a question. You talked about being out in the Bay Area. The Bay is known for just a great eclectic, cultural scene. And when it comes to food, we want to know your favorite place to grab a bite to eat.
Oh my gosh, you're talking about food. We love food. Of course, being from India, all the tandooris and curry. I mean, there are so many restaurants where we live in Black Hawk, Danville area, and San Ramon and Pleasanton and Walnut Creek, and San Francisco, of course, very nice. A very good friend of mine just opened in my friend's friend, actually, a Bill, I don't know if he's billionaire or not, but he opened in Palo Alto also. I'm looking forward to going there. But we love other foods like sushi. We love Japanese food. We also love Burmese food. We also love Chinese food, of course. We love Hunan, very hot stuff, and very good places out here. And then pho, the Vietnamese food, we love that. Of course, American food, we love steaks and, all kinds, and seafood and all that. So that's one thing I love. We love to travel and eat all kinds of cuisines and drink red wine every day. Every day, I drink double, a glass, we could say, of red wine just to keep my body, strong.
Nice. Love it. Vinney, listen, I always enjoy talking to you. You've earned the nickname Mr. Smiles. And once again, you're able to put some joy and some great insights to us and our listeners today. For those who want to learn a little bit more about you, maybe check out the books you have, some of the podcasts, the shows you've got going on. What is the best way to get in touch?
The best way is to just go on Google me, Vinney Chopra, VI, and then EY, Vinney Smile Chopra or Vinney Chopra, or go to my website, vinneychopra.com. And then, of course, the books and all that I'm reading, and my senior investing book is coming out, like I was sharing with you. That's going to be published. I'm just writing another book for the medical professionals and IT professionals. So my different series will be coming of Made Easy, passive investing made easy for all these professionals, because they have great networks. They are busy in their own life, but I would love to teach them and educate them, not teach them, how to really seek out great investments and how they can really put their, passive income, to good use and like that. Yeah.
Vinney, listen, we'll definitely make sure we link to all that. So you certainly can just hit the link in the show notes here. Always a pleasure talking to you, Vinney. Thank you again for coming on Target Market Insights, the Multifamily and Marketing Show.
Thank you. Thank you, John, and God bless you and Gitika. You take care, buddy. Talk to you, and let's meet after COVID, maybe next year at one of the conferences, in Florida, or come over to, our facilities there in Florida or Michigan and, Texas and all the other places.
That'll be great. Listen, we look forward to seeing you in person soon. So hopefully we get to do that early 2021.